Tom, how much do you think you've aged in the past year since your first year as Chargers GM?
Can you see some gray on the sides?
I can.
Now this process this year has been a little easier.
Okay.
We've had a full year to go into this. Last year we were on the run. I got hired in January. We were at the Combine here in February. I still had a house in Indianapolis at this time last year that I was staying at when we were down here at the Combine. So a little more focused, a little more detailed this time around. So this is great. It's great.
I think last year it was very clear the Chargers had to upgrade their offensive line. That was identified as a very, very big need. Protecting Phillip Rivers, you guys did that with drafting DJ Fluker, the addition of King Dunlap. Is there any one area that's glaring to you right now as you evaluate your current roster?
Well, we don't have glaring. We have a lot of areas we need to add to. And this, we're in February, so we're still very much wide focus of looking at everything. We'll start to narrow it down as we get closer to the draft, but, people hate the answer, but it's really the truth. We have to build as strong a 53 as we can because there's injuries, there's a long season. So I just feel like if we focus too much on one position right now, we may miss something somewhere else. And maybe we'd have missed on a Keenan Allen where we didn't do as much work on him. If we said, hey, look, you know what? We're great at receiver. We're in good shape. Let's focus somewhere else. So it's a very wide look at it right now. We'll narrow it down as we get closer.
Is it fair to say pass rush, though, is a need for this team? I mean, you're not sure the status of Dwight Freeney, how he's going to return. You need a tackle. Cam Thomas is a free agent. Is that fair to say that's one area?
Yeah, well, some of the areas will dictate. We have some players we have to re-sign, some current Chargers, their contract expiring. That will dictate on who we get back, who we don't. But sure, our pass rush should be great. We have Melvin Ingram. We have Dwight, but he's coming off the injury. Larry English coming off an injury. So we'd love to add some pass rush. You can't have enough pass rushers.
Speaking of expiring contracts, how confident are you that a deal can be done with Donald Butler? He's made it clear that this is a place that he wants to be.
Well, hopefully, it's somebody we like back, and hopefully he feels the same way. And this is the time of year you go through these negotiations, and we've started on them, and hopefully they go quickly and smoothly. But you never know. But we'll see where it heads.
One of your big moves this last offseason was signing Derek Cox, and this is a guy that couldn't get on the field in most games. Do you expect him to be part of your roster come training camp?
We'll see. This is a big time this time of year decisions on where we are cap wise, where we are player wise. Not a whole lot of guarantees on our roster right now, but I've said before, I think in Derek's case, he'll be the first one to tell you he didn't play up to his expectations, and we didn't get the intended results, but he never stopped working through the whole process. And we'll continue to work with them and still evaluate where we are with the defensive backs. How
about your offensive line? How important is it to build a consistent offensive line? I mean, you have free agent, Chad Reinhardt's a free agent, Ornberger's a free agent, unsure. I would imagine Harvick's can return, but how about shoring up the offensive line?
Well, it's a group that really, continuity is great to have. And we had that this year. We had some injuries early on, but those guys played well as a group. So it's important. We'd hopefully, Nick's going to play and play well like he did this past year, and Jeremy Clary played very well at right guard. So we'll continue to look at that. But we liked our group there. We had 5 strong guys, and we had some role players that came in like Rich Ornberger and Michael Harris, who played very well until he got hurt. So we do have some depth there now that we didn't have last year.
Where do you see the most depth in this draft? What position?
If I could do one position, I'd probably say wide receiver.
Really?
But I'd say there's about 4 positions that are pretty strong. We look at it a little bit differently. We don't look at just the first round. We look at everything. And I'd say wide receiver and defensive line are 2 very strong positions right now.
You found a great wide receiver last year in the 3rd round. So there's value in those later rounds.
There's players in every round. You just have to find them. And it's obviously the farther you get down, the harder it is. But we only have to find 6, 7, 8, or 9 of them. So that's our job.
When it comes to the evaluation process, what's the single most important factor that you look at before you're deciding whether this is going to be a Charger?
I don't know if there's one overriding factor because there's so much that goes into it. But one of the big ones is how much does he love football? Because if you don't love it, you're not going to work at it. If you don't work at it, you don't get better. So those are big things. So. And that's a big part of this interview process with the Combine and talking to people that know the players is how much they really love the game. Because once they get here, they can't rely on their natural talent anymore. At the college level, they could do that sometimes because they're so talented. But here you have to prepare and you have to improve. So we need guys that want to do that.
Can a player really hurt their stock in the interview, the one-on-one formal interview process?
There could be some concerning signs. Now, we only get so much time with players at the Combine, so there's other things that go into it, psychological testing and talking with background on different people. But obviously, if you come across a player that we just feel doesn't fit our culture and doesn't love the game of football, sure, that could hurt them.
2 quick questions. Do you monitor your players on social media? What they say, how they act? Maybe your current players, maybe future prospects, people that are a little bit chatty.
We use every avenue we can find because these are investments we put in players. So we use every avenue we can find to make sure we know what we're getting in the end.
Okay, and last thing, I think last year Manti Te'o was a big topic here at the Combine. Now, can you evaluate how he played? Because he tweeted out a picture of a broken foot or surgery. I mean, can you evaluate how he played this past season and what he played through? And what did he play through?
Well, he played through a foot injury that obviously... What foot?
What exactly was a foot injury?
Well, it wasn't a fractured foot, but he had a stress reaction in his foot that was bothering him, so we sat him down for a while. And then once that healed up, to give him a chance to play, he was good for the rest of the year and didn't miss any practices. And I'm sure he battled through it a little bit, but I don't think it hindered his play a lot. But you'd have to ask him. But it's something that we wanted to get taken care of in the off season, so we don't miss time in the future. So,
thank you very much, Tom. Enjoyed it.